Today I'm here to take you across a beautiful, picturesque country. A country that's located approximately 4,500 kilometers from India. It is located right in our strategic backyard of the Indian Ocean. This country has deep-rooted historical, cultural links to India. It is of great geopolitical significance. So let's explore the island country of Mauritius. Mauritius is a small country with a population of just 1.27 million, and 70% of them are of Indian descent. This marks the close cultural links between the two countries. It is located geographically in the Indian Ocean region and is seen as part of the African continent. But still, India treats Mauritius as part of its extended neighborhood, given its strategic importance and close cultural ties. So in this short video, we will explore these close links between India and Mauritius by visiting the most important historical sites. We will also talk about the economic ties and the strategic defense relations as well. There is no better place to begin this story than the Apravasi Ghat, where I am currently standing, because this is where it all began. More than 5 lakh Indians forcefully transported by the British under the horrific indentured labor system. I am right now standing at the docking yard where the first Indians set foot in Mauritius in 1834. Today, this site is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Once upon a time, this place was known as the Coolie Ghat, a very derogatory term to refer to Indian workers. But later, with the struggle of the Mauritians, who were the descendants of Indians, they have renamed this location as the Apravasi Ghat, a tribute to the migrant workers. In fact, the day on which they arrived in 1834 is still celebrated in Mauritius as the Apravasi Day. This center has been renovated, conserved with the help of the Indian government. You can see the display over here of pictures and the artifacts that were carried by the Indian migrant workers over the decades. They were the backbone of the colonial economy that was built here. It was based on their sweat, their blood, and their complete exploitation. So going forward, we will look at other interesting aspects of Mauritius, and that I think would highlight the cultural links that it shares with India. What you see behind me is the reason why 500,000 Indians were transported here by the British for forced indentured labor: the sugar plantations. The British would bring lakhs of Indians and force them to work under very harsh conditions. They would not be paid appropriate salaries. They would not be given proper living conditions. And you see this template across the world in British colonies, from the West Indies, from Trinidad, Tobago to Jamaica, to Suriname in South America, to Fiji. And even today, the Mauritian economy has been built on its sugar industry. While in the colonial times, it was largely exploitative, today it has contributed to a flourishing sugar mill industry, which has become the backbone of the Mauritian economy. So when the indentured labor system was started in 1834, it was to replace the African slave, as slavery had been abolished by the British Parliament in the early 1800s. But indentured labor system ended up becoming slavery in a different form. This again highlights the colonial exploitation of their colonies and its people. Now we are at Fort Adelaide, also known as the Citadel, built by the British between 1830 to 1840, after they defeated the French in 1810. The fort is located at a vantage point that gives a perfect overview of Port Louis over there. Port Louis was strategically very significant for the British to dominate the Indian Ocean and the trade routes across this region. It is located along the Mocha mountain range, giving a perfect overview of the city downhill, and it helped the British to monitor the movement of Indian migrant workers who were arriving at Port Louis. Behind me, you see the waterfront of Port Louis, a strategic port in the Indian Ocean that overlooks Madagascar and the Mozambique Channel on the other side, which happened to be a very important trade route connecting Europe with India during colonial times. It remained of great relevance until the Suez Canal was built. But even today, the Mozambique Channel and the waters of the Indian Ocean around it remains a critical trading route. Now, the Mauritian Coast Guard vessels that you see behind me symbolizes the close defense relations between India and Mauritius. because from many decades, India has been the net security provider for this island nation as part of the SAGAR and now the MAHASAGAR Doctrine. In fact, Indian Navy has donated most of the fast patrol boats that you can see over there. And Indian Navy has even been providing training to the Mauritian Defense Forces. India has even donated helicopters and reconnaissance aircraft to help protect the exclusive economic zone of Mauritius, which is blessed with immense resources and wealth. India has also been supplying weapons, providing military training, especially the Indian Marcos have been known to have trained the special forces of the Mauritian Navy and the Coast Guard. Mauritius has also joined the Colombo Security Conclave recently, a very important platform for regional security cooperation in the Indian Ocean. In fact, India has been closely involved to ensure political stability in Mauritius. In 1983, there were reports that Prime Minister Indira Gandhi was concerned about the political stability in Mauritius, as reportedly there was a threat to the government under Anirudh Jagannath. There was reportedly a planned coup attempt, and India was even planning a possible military intervention, codenamed Operation Lal Dora, which was called off at the last minute as India decided to get covertly involved in the politics of Mauritius to stabilize the pro-India government. Recently, under the SAGAR MAHASAGAR Doctrine, India has even set up coastal surveillance radars in Mauritius, which were inaugurated by Prime Minister Modi. These radars are interconnected with India's system of coastal radar network that provides maritime intelligence. Mauritius even leased the strategic Agalega Islands, which I happened to pass through when we were on a flight. And at the Agalega Islands, India has completed the construction of a runway and a port facility. India and Mauritius say that these are transport connectivity projects for purely economic reasons. But experts believe that this could be a potential military base of India to dominate this part of the Indian Ocean and to overlook the strategic waters of Mozambique Channel and the east coast of Africa. Now we are at the Port Louis Company Garden in the capital of Mauritius. And behind me is a very special statue that symbolizes the links between our freedom struggle and Gandhian ideals. When Mahatma Gandhi was a practicing lawyer in nearby South Africa, he had a brief stopover in Mauritius in 1901, where he met the Indian community and inspired them to fight for their rights against the British rule. Later, as you know, Gandhi would arrive at India to lead India's freedom struggle. But the Mauritians wanted Mahatma Gandhi to provide leadership to their fight against British rule. That is when Mahatma Gandhi sent his closest disciple, Barrister Manilal Doctor, to Mauritius to provide leadership to the people of Mauritius. And hence, this statue pays homage to Manilal Doctor, and in a way, it pays respect to the linkages of Gandhian ideals of ahimsa and satyagraha that binds the people of two countries and connects our freedom movement. That is why even today, the people of Mauritius mark their National Day on the 12th of March as a tribute to Mahatma Gandhi, his principles, his teachings, and to the freedom movement of India. But can you guess why the 12th of March was specifically chosen? What could be the reason? Can you mention that in the comments below? Now I am at Ganga Talao, a sacred Hindu shrine in Mauritius. Located at Grand Bassam, a crater lake, the temple is highly revered by the Hindu population of the country. The Hindus account for nearly 48% of the country's population, which is the third highest in terms of percentage after Nepal and India. The indentured laborers who were brought into Mauritius mainly consisted of Hindus from the Bhojpuri heartland of today's UP and Bihar, as well as other states such as today's Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, and even Gujarat. The temple here was built in 1866 by Pandit Sanji Bonlal, who was an indentured laborer himself. He managed to convince the French landlords to part with the land, and he navigated British colonial laws to ensure the success of the construction of the Shiva temple at Grand Bassam Lake. The temple is primarily dedicated to Lord Shiva, as you can see, but there are other deities as well, including that of Lord Hanuman, Ganga Mata, Lord Ganesha, etc. During Mahashivaratri, 500,000 Hindus of Mauritius come here to pay their respects, and some even undertake the Kanwar Yatra. In March 2025, Prime Minister Modi visited Ganga Talao and immersed the waters of Triveni Sangam from India, thus symbolizing the cultural and spiritual link that binds the two countries. So now we come to the end of this video. I'm in the emerald blue waters of Mauritius. Just finished a snorkeling session with the whales and the dolphins. Just reminds you how beautiful the marine ecosystems are, how sensitive, delicate they are. And it also reminds you how small island nations like Mauritius have capitalized on their opportunities. I think there are some lessons for India because we have such a long coastline, island territories, and the tourist potential is largely underutilized. But anyways, the other point I was coming to was the economic relations between India and Mauritius. Mauritius, though a very small country with a limited economy, it has been one of the top sources of FDI into India. Usually it's within the top 3 with Singapore and the United States. So how is that possible for a country which is dependent only on tourism and sugar industry and the fish industry? How can it bring one of the top FDI investments into the country? So this is where India has an issue with Mauritius, something that affects our economic and national security. It's largely believed that since Mauritius is a low-tax jurisdiction, it is often misused by money launderers, where the black money is round-tripped via the shell corporations that exist across Mauritius, and it is routed back into India as genuine investments. So that is why India has signed a double taxation avoidance agreement. There is a tax information exchange agreement as well between the two countries. And one last point before we end the video, something that I noticed was that the French influence, the French connection remains very strong in Mauritius even today. Be it the French Creole language the Mauritians speak, or the way they look up to the French tourists. And I think somewhere it reminds you of the colonial hangover. Though the country has 70% population of Indian origin, you don't find that Indian presence and influence on the streets in the day-to-day life of the people of Mauritius. Whereas the French way of life, the French language, the French culture, it takes over the whole country itself. So I think that is where we need to learn across, Asian and African countries that you need to let go of that colonial hangover. So on this note, I would like to end this video. I hope it was interesting. I hope it was insightful. And if you did like it, do press the like button and let me know in the comments if you would like me to visit any other country and share some geopolitical insights. Thanks for watching and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.